Unit 1, Lesson 3. The cell, the building unit of living organisms. We have defined the cell in Lesson 1, which is the building unit in the living organism body. Let's remember together the structure of your body. The body of a living organism consists of a group of systems that contain organs, that contains tissues, that consists of symmetric or similar cells. So the body consists of systems, and each system contains group of organs, and each organ contains group of tissues, and each tissue consists of symmetric or similar cells. So the cell is the smallest building unit or the building unit in the body of a living organism. Now, let's know about living organisms types according to the number of cells. Living organisms, according to number of cells, are classified into multicellular organisms and unicellular organisms. Again, multicellular organisms and unicellular organisms. So what's meant by multicellular organisms? A multicellular organisms, the organisms that have more than one cell, inside their bodies, as human, animals, and plants. Unicellular organisms that have only one cell inside their bodies, as bacteria and fungus. Now, let's know about the plant body or the structure of a plant body. The plant body consists of systems as shoot and root system, and contains also some organs like leaves, root, stem, and consists of tissues that includes similar cells. To know the structure of the plant body, let's know about the plant cell. What's meant by the plant cell? It's the building unit of a plant body. And if we wanted to see cells cannot be seen by our naked eyes, but they can be seen only by microscopes. To know the structure of the plant cell, let's study this drawing and identify the components of plant cell. From this drawing, you will see that the plant cell consists of 6 items, which are: number 1, cell wall; 2, plasma cell or plasma membrane; number 3, cytoplasm; number 4, nucleus; number 5, green plastids. We can also call it chloroplasts. Green plastids or chloroplasts. And the last thing is sap vacuole. So the plant cell composed of cell wall, plasma membrane or plasma cell, cytoplasm, nucleus, green plastids or chloroplasts, and sap vacuole. Let's talk about each one and know what is it used for. First, the cell wall. The cell wall surround the plant cell from outside. Surround the plant cell from outside. As you see, cell wall is the first frame that surrounds the cell from outside. Surround the plant cell from outside. And its function is to supporting the cell and gives it a definite shape. So the cell wall again supports the cell and gives it a definite shape. So there is a question to give reason. A plant cell has a definite shape. A plant cell has a definite shape. Why? Because it has a cell wall. Number 2, plasma cell. Plasma cell or plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is the membrane that follow the cell wall directly after the cell wall, and it surrounds the cytoplasm. And its function too controls the substances that enter or leave the cell. Control anything or any substance enters or leave the cell. So there is a question. What's component that control the substance that enter or leave the cell? What is it? It's plasma membrane. Number 3, cytoplasm. Cytoplasm looks here with the red color or pink color that I have drawn here, and it's look like a fluid. What's meant by fluid? Liquid. It's look like a fluid or a liquid that fills the cell from inside or fills the inside of the cell, where all the other components is suspended in it. It's a fluid that fills the cell and all components suspended in it. And its function to all the biological operations of the cell occur in it. So cytoplasm responsible for all the biological operations that occurs in the cell. Responsible for all biological operations that occur in the cell. Next, nucleus. What's nucleus used for? It organizes the biological operations in the cell. To organize the biological operations in the cell. And it's responsible for the cell division. When the cell of a body of a living organism is divided into another cell, a number of cells, so it's the responsibility of nucleus. So the nucleus responsible for the cell division. Nucleus, again, responsible for cell division. 5. Green plastids or chloroplasts. Green plastids or chloroplasts. What are they? They are responsible for making food by absorbing sunlight during photosynthesis process. We all know that food depends on what? Depends on sunlight, water, minerals from the soil and the air to grow up and build its body. So this green plastid is the thing that help the plant absorb sunlight to store it and make its food by a small process called photosynthesis process. And we're going to talk about it alone next lesson or in lesson 4. Now, Let's again revise. The function of the green plastids is to absorbing sunlight during photosynthesis process, to help plant make its food by photosynthesis process. Now let's talk about the animal cell, and here is a drawing of the animal cell. As you see, the animal cell composed of 4 things. First one, plasma membrane or plasma cell. It's only began with a plasma membrane. What's a plasma membrane for? We have mentioned it in the plant cell. It surrounds cytoplasm as you see and control anything enter or leave the cell. The same function as in the plant cell. So plasma membrane surrounding cytoplasm and control anything enter or leave the cell. Second, it consists of cytoplasm. Cytoplasm, yes. What is a cytoplasm? It's a fluid that fills the cell from inside. A liquid or a fluid fills the cell from inside, and all other components suspend in it. All other components suspend in it. 3. Nucleus. Again, nucleus. What is a nucleus for? Yes, it's to organize the biological operations and responsible for cell division. And there are also small vacuoles. Small vacuoles. So the plant cell, the animal cell, is a building unit in the animal body. Animal cell, the building unit in the animal body. Let's answer some question about that part, which to complete the following. Complete the following. First, the animal cell composed of what, and what? The animal cell, we can say it composed of plasma cell, cytoplasm, and nucleus. Plasma cell, cytoplasm, and nucleus. Number 2, what is the smallest building unit in the living organism's body? The smallest building unit in the living organism's body is the cell. 3, and what is the smallest building unit in an animal body? Here, I can't write cell only. It will be wrong. But I have asked you about animal body. So the animal body, the smallest building unit in the animal body is the animal cell. Next question, what is the building unit in a plant body? A building unit in a plant body is the plant cell. And number 5, what and what are exist in plant cell but not exist in animal cell? Or 2 components characterized plant cell than animal cell. What are they? They are chloroplasts or green plastids and cell wall. Number 6, what organize biological operations that occur in the cell? Organizes the biological operations that occurs in the cell, which is nucleus. And 7, what component that controls anything enters or leave the cell? Any components control things that leave or enter the cell, which is plasma membrane. Plasma membrane. Now, let's talk about the second type of organisms according to number of cells, which is the unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms are living organisms that cannot be seen by our naked eyes. They also seen by microscope. Like what? Like bacteria and fungus. Bacteria and fungus. Example of yeast, fungus. To know the unicellular organisms, or from the unicellular organisms, we have the yeast fungus. And there is a drawing of the yeast fungus that contains cell wall and cytoplasm, nucleus, and vacuole. Again, yeast fungus composed of cell wall, cytoplasm, nucleus, and vacuole. Let's talk about the importance or the uses of yeast fungus. It's used in making many objects like bread and alcohol. Yeast fungus used in making bread and alcohol, as it produces carbon dioxide gas that swells bread up. So yeast fungus have importance as we use it to make bread or alcohol. Why? Because it produces carbon dioxide gas that make bread swells up. If we have an experiment like this to show that yeast fungus, when it reacts with sugar, it produces carbon dioxide gas. If we have a jar like this and put small pieces of yeast and some